started, and then the lab for Lab 7, it's not like you've got to really do anything other than like look at the models and answer the questions about skin. So I'm going to give you some time to work on Lab 7, and then maybe you guys can get out of here a little bit early today. All right. We left off yesterday, as we've been talking about in Chapter 6 with the integumentary system. I chose this point to stop yesterday for a reason. Because Chapter 7, we're moving into our bones. We're moving into the skeletal system. Now, when we think about bones, what comes to mind? Well, okay, we know that it's the hardened matrix, but think about, like, I don't know, maybe commercials that you see.
Milk.
Oh, got milk. Okay, everybody with a little mustache, right? Okay, and then what else? Vitamin D, calcium. Y'all kind of think about that with bone. But do you really understand what happens with each one? No? Okay.
Yeah, that makes you grow.
Makes you what?
No, literally, so it makes you
Okay,
grow.
makes you grow. Okay. If you work out, they're like, you know, milk is something that's good to drink, you know, if you work out. Now, okay. I have to draw the line at the dropping of the components. Okay, one of the things that is extremely important for us to understand, we need to understand, first of all, calcium's role in our body. Okay? Now, in order for the calcium to be successful, we need vitamin D. In order for vitamin D to be successful, it starts with our skin. I know, go figure, right? Hey, we're in that chapter, okay? So what is it that I'm going to try to explain? Okay, in our diets, we take in our foodstuffs. Our foodstuffs are hopefully going to contain the vitamins and the minerals that we need to have this healthy bone. Now, a lot of the stuff that we see now, we see that it is fortified with vitamin D, fortified with calcium. Is that correct? Okay. So, we take in those foodstuffs. Is it necessarily enough? Have you ever been told that you are deficient in maybe vitamin D? Okay. Did your doctor like tell you or something like that? Vitamin D. See, there we go. We can actually check it with blood work. This time of year, like roughly from about October to March, how do you tend to feel versus March through September, April through September? You feel tired. Do you know why?
I thought it was because the days are shorter.
Now, it's a combination of both. Because chances are, based on your diet, you are not taking in that proper vitamin D or calcium. Okay? I'm betting if we were to all go say, hey, let's get our blood calcium, blood vitamin D, let's get that checked. probably 95% of us be deficient. Okay? And then, depending on how deficient, doctor might say, take a supplement. Take a supplement, they're going to tell you to take calcium with it. Because the body can't absorb it if the can't absorb the calcium without the body. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now, here's what else happens. Because right now, we're not getting a lot of our sunlight. We're deficient in the sunlight. Now, see, for me, because I know this, I've gotten this down to a science. I know exactly when those days are going to be at the shortest day and when those days begin to start increasing in sunlight. Oh, I have it down to a science. Don't know if you guys noticed, but now we're at a point where that sun's not completely down until about 6 o'clock. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, you talk about somebody who's got this down to a science. It took me a while to figure it out because I was like, oh, man, I have so much energy during the spring and summer, but during the fall and the winter, I don't feel like doing anything for bed. So then I go to the doctor and she's like, oh, well, yeah, look, your vitamin D's through the floor. Okay, give me those pills. Okay, let's take the vitamin D and the calcium. And yeah, it helps a little bit, but the thing about it is, we have to make sure that we're getting the exposure to the sunlight. Doesn't take a lot, only takes about 15 minutes a day, but the thing about it, it needs to be direct sunlight, meaning as little close as possible. Now, I'm not saying, just go free and then out, in the yard, whatever, okay? I'm saying you have to have exposed skin. So, like, if you've got your arms and your legs exposed, chances are you're getting the sunlight that you need if you do that for the 15 minutes, okay? So, what happens is this. Now, when we think about bone, okay, because bone, one of the things that I mentioned, the rebar of bone was which of the 3 fibers? Collagen. So the collagen, okay, as we lay down the collagen, because bone, is that a hardened matrix? Semi-solid? Soft? Bone is what kind of matrix? It's the hard. Okay, so we have this hardened matrix, and I mean tough. Do you happen to remember what those two together formed that we termed the matrix of bone? Think about eating, because I said don't call it appetite, it's appetite. Do you guys remember the hydroxy? Appetite. Okay? That is the hardened, that is what is our hardened matrix of the bone. Now, take a peek. Calcium. At this point, haven't really talked to you about how pretty much every system of the body is going to use calcium. Muscle, nerve, bone, respiratory, urinary, almost digestive, every system. If you're deficient in it, to help, hello, okay, what do you think that's doing to all the other systems? Okay, we're getting some type of maybe a slowdown or an agitation or something in those systems, okay? When we look at how we get the calcium and the phosphate, all right, we look at our intestines, all right? we take our food stuff in. In the body, we begin to break that down. So we have to break down our foodstuffs into that calcium and that phosphate. Because we need that calcium and that phosphate to make it into our bloodstream. Is everybody kind of following me? All right? Now, when we get those components into the bloodstream, one of the things that I mentioned, bone is highly vascularized. So that means it has a good blood supply. So I can now have my components to make up my matrix that will get laid down over my collagen fibers. Is everybody with me? Stop me now if there's something you're not picking up on. Okay, so to make that matrix for the bone, we've got to make sure that we get proper absorption from the intestines. This process starts in the skin. If we can get the sunlight, all right, when we are exposed to the UV radiation, and that's what we're being exposed to from the sunlight, we can take the vitamin D that we have gotten exposed to, change its form to make it act like a hormone. And once we can do that, we can then stimulate the uptake of the calcium from our intestines. So if we can take the vitamin D, convert it, it can act like a hormone that will help us have the uptake of the calcium and the phosphate from our intestines based on the foodstuffs that we have eaten. And it starts with being exposed to the sunlight. Now, what does that mean in times like right now, for this time of the year, where we're not getting the proper amount of sunlight? Well, here's the thing. The body must regulate the level of calcium in the bloodstream at such a tight number, it cannot in any way allow that number to drop. It doesn't want it to really increase. It wants its number staying like it is. So that tells me if my body is monitoring the calcium in the bloodstream so tightly, because calcium is going to be needed for muscle, it's going to be needed for bone, okay? We're going to need that calcium. It's telling me this. Well, if in my diet I have not eaten enough of the right foodstuffs to have this in my body, but I need to make sure that I get it in my blood, what does it begin to break down to get the calcium level back up in the blood? Bone. It will break down the bone tissue, and the bone tissue can release the calcium back into the blood. Now, if I happen to be taking in a lot of my foodstuffs that are good for the calcium and vitamin D and everything else, and levels begin to go up in the bloodstream, where does it want to now start? store that calcium. It wants to put it back into the bone. The bone will build back up. Now, is that always the case? No. All right, but we'll talk about that in that chapter. But it starts right here with the skin. So to say that this is an important process in the body, this is really an understatement. And it's why we really need to have the sunlight and the proper foodstuffs.